Y'all, let's start us another week-long video. Maybe it won't take that long. I finally got around the Sunday morning, pulled the boat out, got it washed. It's amazing how dirty it gets just sitting under that shelter, not covered. Got it scrubbed up pretty good. Leaves and trash is left in the floor. When it dries a little bit better, I'll pull that out with a vacuum. These seat covers I made ain't gonna work too much longer. I'm gonna have to do something else this year or next year, whenever I get to it, put it that way. Anyway, looks pretty good. Had it cleaned up. Like I said, when it dries good, I'm gonna put the cover on it, put it back under the shelter for now. Maybe not. We have a possible storm coming this way, or in this general direction, by the end of the week. If that be the case, I'll have the cover on it and we'll park it back over here somewhere. Or if it's a bad enough storm, buddy Stump told me I could bring it up and put it up under his barn. It'll make that little all-well to his jealous, but that's okay too. Appreciate him offering to let me do that. His roof is solid steel beams and all that. Not likely anything's gonna knock that thing down. All right, we're gonna get on some knives tomorrow. I don't know what else I'm gonna do today. We'll see. Did I mention it's hot? I mean to tell you hot. And right on cue, here comes a thunderstorm. Give it another rinse, it'll be all right. All right, y'all. While washing and cleaning up the boat, I forgot that we have a problem. Now, I did this my own self when me and my son went fishing. I got hung up on a tree close to the dock. We was trying to load the boat in gale force winds and main current, and I thought I had broke something in the bottom end because I heard a loud pop, and I never could figure out quite where it was at, and then I finally did. That tree limb had got hung under here on top of the cowling and broke that, and actually the mounting screw on this side over here broke that. Now I'm going to attempt to fix this. A replacement part is over $100, and I can fix it good enough. So I've got some epoxy, and I've got some knife handle spacer material, and I've got some Kydex. Kydex will probably work better epoxied on there. So let's get it took apart. One of them things that not a whole lot to it, I don't think, but it's got to be done. 4 bolts in there. And take those out, and I'll show y'all what it looks like when I get it off. And then we'll get our little plan up how we're going to fix it. All right, here's what I'm going to do. This piece here with that threaded insert is broke right there, and this is the same one that was broke off at the very bottom when I fixed this thing, when I painted it, when I first got it. And it goes like that. Now this is not the fault of the boat, this is the fault of the operator, which that was me. So I should have got off of that tree I was tangled up in before I tried to take off. But got us a little bit of epoxy. Before we mix that up, this piece here, the first stage, gonna sort of put this tape up here for like a damming compound so epoxy won't run out. put some epoxy on this side just to get it stuck real good, then we'll put some on the other side. Okay, we'll have to hold that down somehow. I bet that'll hold. Just about like that. There we go, like that. I think that'll work. Now the tape will come off when I get done, so. Now, we don't need a whole lot. This is a brand new epoxy set because I ran out last time. The last knife that I did. Equal parts. It's always better to have a little too much than not enough. But not too much, because this stuff is very expensive. Like that. A little bit on there. Do on the back side. Back in the groove where it broke. Let's sit there. Now this carries to work. You can work with it after about 5 or 10 minutes. There we go, like that. And that'll hold that still till we get to the other side. That's what Sundays are for, is to do odds and ends stuff that you don't have time to do during the week. Right? There we go. Alright, Ricky, don't fool with it. Okay, we got a crack right over here. Put a little bit in there too. Just for grins and giggles. There we go. Now when it gets to where we can work with it, I'll take the take some of that Kydex and see if we can't fill that in. But if nothing else, get this all stuck back together, it'll work. But we're gonna try to cover that big hole up anyway. And the best part is, it don't cost $100 to fix it. Alright, got me a piece of Kydex cut. I'm going to put a piece on the back side and the top side. The top side will be mainly for, well, all to hold it together, but top side will be where you can see it, so it'll look better. What I'm going to do, I'm going to clamp it in the vise here. About halfway. I'm going to heat it with my heat gun. And because that's what you do with the Kydex, you heat it, form it like you want it, let it cool and it'll stay there. I want this thing to be as strong as I can get it. And it'll look okay too, but I'm not as much worried about looks as I am function. I'm thinking if you don't know it's there, if you don't look for it, you won't see it. And it should be enough, like that. Pardon me. Let's put us a 90-degree in there. Excuse me. And on cue, we got a big thunderstorm coming in, so now we'll let that cool just a minute. When it gets cool, then we'll move back over here, see if we can't get it epoxy down on the inside. Okay, that's not a 90-degree, it's a little bit steeper than that, so let's heat this back up. Good thing about this, you can do all kind of stuff with it. Alright, let's see, let's put us a piece of leather there and just sort of hold it for a minute. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not too awful hot. Let's see. Let's get back over here. There we go. Much better. That'll go there. And when that dries pretty good, then we'll turn it over and patch that outside. See, that's holding pretty good right there, but it needs more than just that on both sides. Coming along. All right, there it is. I know it's hard to see because it's all of it's black, but got a little clamp pressure on it there and there, and we'll just let that dry probably 10 or 15 minutes. Then we can turn it over and do the other side. This piece here feels nice and secure. It's right back on the lines where it broke off, so there we go. Alright, that's dried a little bit. Now got us another piece. Got the Kydex here. We'll leave this here for now. Slip this under here, because there was the crack right there. So we want to come all the way across it from the top side. Make us a mark. Cut this piece out. Now this Kydex is it's tough stuff, but you can cut it with the scissors, a pair of sharp scissors. Now when I get finished, I'll go back with the Dremel tool and make sure everything in there is smooth. Try to make it look pretty good. Like I said, I'm worried about if it works, not if it looks good. I've never had a fish get up in my boat and say, well, your boat looks like crap. That don't happen. So. Alright, we're going to do this a little bit different. Position that there. Wait a minute, I just goofed up that whole piece. I want to go all the way up here. Cover that. Duh. and that is not long enough. Hang on, I got some more. There we go. Take two. Line it there. Put our mark here. And then we want to come across up here so we can cover this whole broken piece. And then we want to leave. Let's see, let's do this. Okay, a little over an inch. Let's go about 1.5 inches. Like I said, we're going to trim it off with the Dremel tool. Okay, there's our piece right there. Cut off like that. Don't throw that away. Might need it somewhere else. Thunderstorm's still close. It ain't got here yet, but might be one of those that passes us by. Power went off for a little bit. Thank you, Florida Flicker and Flash, Florida Power and Light. It's supposed to harden the system. Well, that don't happen. Every other day it goes off for just long enough to aggravate you. There we go. Let's see, where did my piece of sandpaper? Knock them little birds off of there. Go ahead and rough that up for the epoxy. I didn't do that on that piece. Maybe I should have. It's alright. I'm going to put this here. Line it back up pretty good. And I'm going to heat it just like it is and then fold it up. And hold on to it. I don't think it'll get that hot. Then we'll trim some of it and then epoxy it on there. I still haven't got the hang of making knife sheaths out of Kydex. I may never get the hang of it. Alright, let's hold that up just like that. I don't want to burn my fingers. Take just a minute, it'll dry and deformed right up to that. Five, 4, 3, 2. Nope. Alright, I'll bring you back in a minute. Alright, got it traced out on there. I don't know if y'all can see that line. I put pencil mark. It's there. Like that. Don't throw that away. I'm gonna step right here to the sander and knock that off. It's a little too much by hand. Hang on. There we go. Now we'll take this out of the way. And this back over. I'm just going to clamp down on there in epoxy just like that. And I don't see a thing in the world wrong with that, do y'all? Yeah, where'd my pencil go? I just want to make a mark there, so. Know where I'm at. See the epoxy's leaked through there when we put it from the back side. That's good. Rough it up a little bit because this is going to be the main strength of it right here. There. We already roughed that up. A little bit more of it there. Let's see, we need something. There we go. Just like that. Now when it dries, the little void that's going to be in here, we'll mix up a little more epoxy and pour that solid. And that'll just help keep anything from getting up in there. I think it's going to work all right. So let me get a couple more clamps ready to hold it down up here, and then we will do back to epoxying. Alright, let's get us some more epoxy mixed up. And a little bit more this time. I want to cover it really, really well. Now this is 3-ton epoxy, so once it cures and sets up good, it's not going anywhere. Just like on knife handles, you can, and I have done it once or twice, just epoxy only and no pins. But I still like pins and knife handles. This type of thing, you could use a couple little screws if you wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary, because the only pressure is on it is wind, mainly going down the road. And if you get hung up in a tree like Dummy here did, stop and get it loose. Let's put us a really good coat here. Make sure we cover where that crack was real good. There's a pretty good chances it would be okay just like it is without doing this part. We're going to do it anyway. Make it look a lot better. And a little bit of that's going to squeeze out. So. And yes, I'm going to get it all over me too, I'm sure. But take our leftover and go in here and put just a little bit. Use it all. Try not to waste anything. That's good enough. Put us a small clamp here. Small clamp there. One up there. There. Got a tiny little gap up here. Fill that up so no water gets down in there. I think we're going to need just the tiny bit more. Oh, by the way, the thunderstorm seems to have passed us by, which is okay. We've had enough the last couple weeks. There we go. That got it. Now we're going to sand this off smooth too. And I've got some flat black paint. I think I'll go ahead and we'll clean this off when we get everything smoothed out. Put a coat of paint on it so it's all very uniform looking. Now if we need to mix up more and put in here when it dries, we'll do that. I think that's going to do it. Two thumbs up. Alright, we got it pretty much stuck together. Still not fully cured. It won't be until in the morning. But that's good enough for now. So we can finish it up. Just going to cut off some of that excess. A little bit right there. I'm going to grind off. Let's see, we've got the Dremel tool all set up here. Look, that's hot. I don't know what to turn off first. Alright, that'll do just fine. Now we're just going to hand sand that off a little bit before we put a coat of paint on it. Now these gaps, I decided instead of mixing up more epoxy, a little bit right there. Use a little bit of this silicone. It'll do the same thing. Probably don't even need it, but don't take much, just a little bit. Nothing else that'll keep dirt daubers and bugs from getting up in there. Any kind of little crack or crevice they can get in, they will. That, and yes, I'm getting it all over me. That's part of it. And this will also take overnight to cure all the way, but we'll have it back together here in just a little bit. Pretty big gap right there. Put on that end, and I think we got it. Now, like I said, we'll rough this up a little bit with some sandpaper and clean this really good with some alcohol or acetone or something. We'll go dig out in the cabinet and get some flat black spray paint, which I'm almost positive I have. Take it outside and paint it. Let's see. We don't want this on the camera. Alright, got it outside. We're going to use black semi-gloss. That's what I got. And a little bit of flat in there, but I don't think it's enough. Just like that, we'll paint it all the way around. I don't want to get overspray on the camera, so we'll see it here in a little bit. There we go. Got a good coat on there. We'll let that dry for however long it takes to dry. And then we're gonna put this dude back together. Alright y'all, we're gonna put it back together. It's not all the way dry and cured just yet, but it'll be alright. Well, it would really help if you put it on the right way, wouldn't it? Okay, set it down like that. We've got our bolts. We're going to use some 4-man's anti-seize. Put this guy above it on there. Let's see. Start it like this. Help me see down in there. That paint's still just a little bit tacky. But that's alright. It took a lot longer to do this than I thought it would. As long as we can get it bolted back on and put it back on the boat, it will. Try it overnight, it'll be just fine. Get them started. Okay, that one started. I know y'all probably can't see what I'm doing. I'm just bolting it back on, that's all. There we go. let's see. Let me move this camera. Maybe see a little bit better what I'm doing. It's got these little bolts that go in there. Get them all started by hand first, and then tighten them down. There we go. Now if we scuff that paint a little bit, who cares? We can touch it up if need be. Like I said, I ain't never seen a fish that told me my boat looked bad, so. Okay, got all four started. I believe this is a 8mm. Let's see. I think that's what it is. I can't see it, so. Tighten them up. Don't over tighten. Getting good and snug. Put that anti-seize on there, Vaseline, in case they ever come off there again. We hope it don't. You never know. One more. There we go. Now, let's see how we did. All right, back on there. There's our patch. And I don't see a thing in the world wrong with that. Do y'all? What do y'all think? Somebody comes up to your boat and said, "Oh, you got a patch right there." Throw something at him. Now, total cost for me for this, $0. Because I had everything already. If do something like this, piece of Kydex like that's $4 or $5. You know, epoxy's not much. And if you've got a shop, a home workshop, you probably got that stuff laying around anyway. So there you go. Never ever be afraid to tackle something and work on it. You don't know anything about it, learn about it. I didn't know anything about a fuel system on the 60 horsepower Mercury 4-stroke until I just tore into it. And the University of YouTube, of course. So there you go. Appreciate y'all watching. We're gonna go put this back on the boat. I'll give you one final picture of it on there. And the thunderstorm missed us. It didn't rain. I think the boat's dry, so I'll back it up under the shed and we'll get the cover on it. I may put the cover on tomorrow. We'll see. Make sure it's dry first. There we go. I think it looks pretty good. And it will work very well. Alright, y'all, that's it. Boat is parked, covered, all nice and clean, ready for the next trip, whenever that is. Probably gonna be cooler weather. I did run it for about 15 minutes with the water muffs on it. Everything's fine. So that's it. Took most of the day, but it had to be done. Thank y'all very, very much for watching. Thank you for your support. And I'll see y'all in a couple of days with something else.